What's up, everybody? My name is Rui A Coelho with eXp Realty in the greater Boston area. If this is the first time on the channel and you want to know everything that there is to play, work, eat, sleep, best neighborhoods, best cities, best anything you want to know about Boston, the greater Boston area, or Massachusetts as a whole, make sure you hit that subscribe button and click on the little bell just so you're notified every time I upload a video. I try to upload a video every week. And I want to be absolutely honest, is I love getting the phone calls and helping people out when they're thinking about moving to Boston, the greater Boston area. So if you're thinking about moving to the area, you got to reach out to us however you want to reach out to us, whether it's phone call, text message, email, pigeon carrier, however you want to reach out to us. We got your back when moving to greater Boston. Now I want to get into the subject here pretty quickly. I'm doing a little bit of different format here than my traditional videos. In this video, I'm going to cover the 5 worst suburbs in Boston according to niche.com. Niche.com is a great website if you want to look for rankings, whether it's for towns, places to work, schools, whatever you want to do. They're a great third-party source. So it's for you to be able to form your own opinions, and I highly recommend them. There are other websites out there too if you want to check out. You just got to do a quick Google search and you'll be able to find them. Now our first neighborhood is news to me out of Boston, but it's going to be the Harbor Islands. Let's look at the map here just so we're a little bit clearer. So these are the Harbor Islands here in Boston. I thought these were all like forts and stuff during the Revolutionary War and the Civil War and what's not, but people do live here, half the year. People that are park rangers and stuff like that do live here, but some of these islands do have a year-round population. There's not too many, but as niche.com says, there's roughly 460 people that live on these islands. I don't know if that's going to if they're including the park rangers that live there half the year or not, but we'll keep it at that. Medium home value, there is none. I don't think there's a lot of people looking to live in these islands. You have to take a ferry if you want to go to any of the schools, so it's going to be really tough to raise a family there. Rent, you can see, it's $99 a month. That's excuse me, that's incredibly cheap. Again, it's probably not including any, utilities, stuff like that. So, it's going to be tough to live out there. But again, it is the worst rated neighborhood in Boston. So I want to cover it because I want to be truthful with you guys. Scrolling down, we did the map here. I want to cover this right now, and I'll probably say it again later. I think the biggest contributors to why these are the worst rated neighborhoods is because of the crime and safety. Here we see there's no rating for the Harbor Islands, but going into some of these other ones, you can be able to see that they're not awful, but compared to the rest of Massachusetts or the rest of Boston, they're pretty low. So going into, what they categorize as residents, medium household income, $2,500 a month or $2,500 a year. That's, again, I don't think there's a lot of people living out there. So, there aren't any reviews, and we'll cover some of the reviews. Some of the reviews there are people that are visiting or people that are actually living in these neighborhoods. So it's good to see what, other people are saying about these neighborhoods. But again, this one's going to be real quick. Let's get back out of this one. Going into our next reviewed neighborhood of Boston is Matapan. I want to be honest with you. I grew up in Cambridge myself, so I've been in and out of these neighborhoods. I've had friends grow up here, and they're not all bad, right? So it only takes a few bad eggs to spoil the bunch, right? Is that, whatever the saying may be. But all these neighborhoods aren't bad. Matapan, I'm not really, in there too often, but I do know some colleagues and friends that did grow up there. you know, and some of the rumors are true, but let's get into it. So Matapan, you might even hear it be called Murderpan. You know, again, I just want to be truthful with you guys with all this stuff. So population, 28,369, giggity. Real estate, medium home value about 410, while the nationals at 217. Rent is about 1,500. Let's get into a little bit more. So that's the average, but let's see. This is what I like to look at here is the percentages. So you know, when it says 1558 as the median, you're going to see mostly, you know, 15 to 2,000. You're going to see the next, you know, at the 26. Sorry, I don't have my glasses on. You're going to see 1,000 to 1,500, and then the next one there is going to be over 2,000. So depending on what part of town or what part of the neighborhood you're in, that's what you're going to see. And of course, bedrooms and bathrooms and stuff like that. The map here, let's get a closer look. Get rid of this. So the Harbor Islands are right out here, right? So just so you know where we're all going. And so Matapan's right here. Again, this map is out of niche.com. All this information is out of niche.com, so you're able to look at it yourself as well. So Matapan, you know, smaller neighborhood compared to the rest of Boston. You know, really blocked off. There's no direct access to highways. You see 90, 93s through here. There's a, you know, Route 3's down there, 95's down there. So like it's you know, landlocked to a point. You know, let's get a little bit closer in here. You know, you got a nature center there if you like to go hiking. You got a cemetery there. You know, strange as it may sound, you get a lot of people that like to hike through cemeteries. I live in Acton now. Like I said, I grew up in Cambridge, but I live in Acton now, and there's you know, a cemetery off of Central Street here that a lot of people like to jog or rollerblade through. There are a lot of older grave sites there. You know, back one of the larger cemetery, there's some going back to the 1700s. So it's really neat if you're a history buff. You want to just see, you know, some old graves and stuff like that. So a lot of people like that. But the reason why a lot of people were jogging here is, at least in Acton, I don't know about Matapan if you want to do that, depending on the safety, and then we'll cover the safety. But it's, you know, they don't have to worry about cars coming through or stuff like that. So that's there. You got a public school there. I guess a Boston Nature Center. I got another park, schools, another cemetery, Tech Boston Academy, school there. I believe that's a school there as well. Yep. So these lighter brown ones are typically going to be schools. You know, another school there. So, you know, a lot of, for a city, you know, for Boston itself, right, you see a lot of green. There are a lot of parks and places to go if you like the outdoors, right? So that's what I really like about Boston, is they still give you that access no matter, even though you're in a tight city. You know, so, but what I don't really see is a lot of commercial or opportunities to work. And that's, once we get through these other neighborhoods, that's sort of the main theme there. And I think that's where a lot of the issues is coming from, is, you know, higher crime, you know, probably because of lower income, right? And you can't blame someone trying to provide for themselves or their family if there's no opportunities there. I'm not defending them at all, but you know, I'm just trying to make, I just want to, you know, be the devil's advocate, I guess. So that's a little spurt there. Rankings, go to a couple of rankings. You know, national, you know, they're not very good. You know, 3,000 out of 6, 4,400 out of 59, 6 out of 18. That's not bad. You know, 10 out of 18. But going into the Boston area, you know, 50 out of 223, most diverse places to live. 189 out of 223, best place for young professionals. So my biggest suggestion is to go into niche.com, check out these ratings yourself, and come to your own conclusion if you feel like, you know, these places that you want to live in. Crime here is C minus. And I said it before, this is going to be the kicker for this. Assault, you know, practically double the national. Murder, definitely double the national. Robbery, again, double the national. Because YouTube is probably going to, you know, mark this video, I'm not going to say this word here because I want to make sure that you guys get the information, and it's unfair that YouTube would automatically give me a strike or make me take down my video because I said one word. So, and you're gonna see none of the neighborhoods are gonna have a rating for that, and it may be because they will just, because it's Boston is the mother city. So if we go to Boston directly, we're gonna see like that whole coverage for that rating. Property crimes, you know, burglary versus the national, a little less. Theft, half as much. Motor vehicle theft, a little bit more. So, you know, take that as you will. Medium household income, 55,000, less than the national average. Again, this is probably where a lot of the crime comes from, is the opportunity to work and earn. So, you know, take that as you will. The schools here, they're all going to share pretty much the same schools because it's through Boston. Now, what I want to do is go through. I want to take. You can kind of see the reviews here. 3 out of 5 stars, which technically isn't bad. You know, out of 58 reviews again. So these are people that have experience in these neighborhoods coming out to give out reviews. So let's go. There's one terrible review. Let's read that one. Matapan is not a safe place to live. You often see a lot of people getting hurt and a lot of guys standing out in corners, making people often feel uncomfortable. People standing on corners, you can't, you know, do you feel uncomfortable? Yeah, but doesn't mean that it's unsafe because of that, right? Let's go with a couple, an excellent review. Let's go with this top one. I lived there all my life and look forward to buying my house there. I love the family feel. There's families know each other. Neighborhoods are nice and helpful. So kind of the stark opposite of there. So again, in any town, city, there's going to be, you know, what people call a nicer area, and there's going to be people that's going to be saying that's a lesser nicer area. I'm sure it's the same thing with each neighborhood as well. Let's just go with one more. Matapan is a very quiet community. However, I would like to see change when it comes to the violence and the cleanliness of the city. So that's, you know, that's probably more right line of what my experiences have been with Matapan, the times that I have gone through it. So, yeah, take that, you know, again, take it as information, but do the research yourself to make sure that you're making the best choice for you and your family. Let's get back. Our next on the list is East Boston. Let's see. Overall ranking B. Total population 47,263. Home value 485. Again, we're still under 500. Rent is about 1,500. Let's double check on that. Let's see. So again, the same 15 to 2,000. You know, you get 28%, and then you're going to see a lot of 1,000 to 15 and over 2,000 in there as well. Clicking on the map. East Boston. Again, just to show you where everything is. Harbor Islands are there. Matapan's going to be right here where we were. But let's focus in the East Boston. So the first thing that would stand out to you is Logan Airport's right here. You know, so that's for work. You know, all the houses and stuff are going to be right here and a little bit up here, but you know, work-wise, you have one place to work. You know, a bunch of companies, a bunch of different airlines you can work for, but you know, you have this one location here. There's going to be a lot of truck companies here as well. They're going to have their own little ports and places here. The other thing is you have 90 that comes through. So there's going to be, you know, if you're uncomfortable with noises, right? You know, if you're like, I want a quiet place to live, but I want to be in the city, you know, East Boston's not going to be your cup of tea. You have airplanes coming in and out. You have the highway there. You're going to have people coming in, taxis everywhere. So if you want to live in the city, but you want it to be a little bit quieter, you know, avoid East Boston if that's what you want. But you can kind of see here the buildings, the outlines for the buildings. They're fairly close together, but you do have some schools here, some parks. So it's really nice if you, again, Boston does good with giving a lot of parks and outside things to do. There's going to be bars, there's going to be, you know, clubs and stuff like that, but you know, available for you there. There are a lot of docks here, and it's really neat. You know, I've been out to this part of the harbor here, sat, you know, anchored up here with a bunch of friends and just watched the planes come in, and it's really neat. You know, it's suspenseful, right? Because you see this massive metal bird coming at you, right? And is it, you know, your thoughts going through your head, is it gonna make it? Is it gonna pass by your head? How, you know, should you duck or not, right? But it's pretty cool to see, you know, the airplanes coming through, and you know, they're like 100 feet above you. They're probably a little bit more, but it feels like they're like in your face, and they're super loud. So it's pretty neat. You know, obviously you don't, you know, just sit there. You know, you could have a couple brewskis in there. You know, don't do anything crazy because you got the Port Authority walking you when you're out there. They have to. That's their job, right? So, but it's pretty cool. And also gives you access to, you know, the Charles and stuff like that. So you're actually able to come through the docks here and stuff like that, and kind of go down the Charles River and really, you know, get a good feel for Boston on the water side. And it's gorgeous. You know, during sunsets or during the fall, it's a beautiful place. So let's get out of the map, go through some of the rankings, and we'll go into the Boston area. So most diverse, 16 out of 223. Best places for young professionals, 44 out of 223. Sorry, guys. Best places to live in Boston, 200 out of 223. So not the highest ranking. And again, 200 out of 221 for best places to raise a family. And that probably just has something to do with maybe the amount of schools that they have, or you know, having the airplanes there for that. So let's head back out of there. Next up, crime and safety. C. Again, a lot of the, I'm going to say it again, I'm going to keep on saying it. I think almost all of these ratings are due because of the crime and safety. You're going to see a lot of them are going to be in C ratings. Again, form your own opinion. My opinion is my opinion alone. I'm just wanting to provide the information here for you to do the homework yourself. You know, the best buyer for houses are the educated buyers. I always say that. I always try to give as much information to my buyers as possible, so they can make the best choices possible for themselves and for their family if they have one coming with them. So, you know, so let's get in here. Violent crimes, a little less than the national average. Murder, again, a little bit higher. Robbery, a little bit lower. Property crimes, burglary, half as much. Theft, you know, less than half. Same thing with motor vehicle theft. So it's a little bit safer against the C versus C minus than Matapan, but it is what it is. Going with that medium household income, you know, 60 grand, so still shy above the national average. You know, you do have a lot more commercial available in East Boston because of you know, the airport and everything that goes around with being in a port area. So and then public schools. And then let's get into the ratings. Let's go with terrible. We got 3 terribles here. It's a 3.5 out of 5 rating total. So let's get into this one first. This one's a long one. East Boston is a community where generations upon generations of people have lived all their life. That's actually true about most places in the city. You know, Cambridge, same thing. Cambridge. You see at when they come to high school reunions or host horse racing events and protest for a casino. But in terms of, we do have a fairly new casino in the Boston area too. If that's something you guys want me to cover, you know, big amenities like that, make sure you put it down in the comments. But in terms of educating community members politically and getting people to vote, a strong lack of it is here. I can say that not enough of East Boston residents go without vote or trying to make the effort to keep themselves aware of political events taking place or approaching it quite sad, and there needs to be a change. Sorry if I stuttered a little bit there. It was hard to read. So I mean, that's one person's opinion. You know, that's, I guess that is true about most things, right? If you know, you're not taking part of voting and trying to improve the area, then it's going to suffer. You know, you got to take it into your own hands, and try to make where you live a better place. So let's go into one of the excellent ones. I love the culture and diversity of East Boston. There's plenty of areas to work out in, including bike path and a variety of restaurants to eat good food. Everyone is friendly, and we have great views of the Boston skyline at the harbor, which is true. This one looks like, all right, that doesn't, yeah, well, all right, let's let's back out of this one. And then let's see if we can round up everything. So that's the end of it, right? So again, everything is available on niche.com. Not sponsored, by the way. Next neighborhood up is Dorchester. Rated B overall, which is pretty good. Population is 126,909. Home value, 453, 562. Again, under the 500 mark. And I think that sort of has a... You'll see once we get, you know, in future videos, if we do this sort of type of video again, well, you'll see that once we break that 500 mark, the ratings start to change a little bit. It's weird. Medium rent, it's just under 1,500. Let's get a better view of that. So the majority you're going to see is between 15 and 2,000, and then next up is 1,000 to 1,500. You know, there is a lot, 14% under 500, so that's what brought down that number to under 1,500, but you're still going to see a lot more of 2,000 and over versus 15 and over, and a lot of that has to do with, you know, if it's a newer apartment, and you got the water view, right? So let's look at the map here. Oh, where am I going? Here we go. So Dorchester, the islands are right here, Matapan's right here, East Boston right here, right? So everything's fairly close. The next few are going to be in this area here, right next to Dorchester. So you can see Dorchester is significantly bigger than Matapan was, so a bigger area to cover. Still a lot of greenery. You do have access to the highway here. You know, but you're gonna have a little bit more commercial availability and opportunities to work around here. You got a hospital in here. Everything's a little bit more spread out, it feels like. You know, you do have a lot more schools, so just so you can kind of get an idea of where it is. Brookline's here, Cambridge is over here. So, again, the times I've been in Dorchester and the people I know that grew up there, you know, mixed reviews, right? But we're here to kind of help you get the information and come up with your own decision if you want to live in these areas. Let's go to the rankings. All right, Boston area, number 1 in most diverse area. It's pretty cool. Best places for young professionals, 65. Just under 200 best places to live in Boston, and just under 200 best places to live as a family. And it's probably because it's a little bit, it's a little bit bigger. You probably have a couple more schools to choose from as well. Crime and safety back down to C-, and that's probably due because the population is so much bigger, so there's a bigger chance for crime. Assault, practically double the national, more than double than for the murders. Again, same thing with robbery. Property crimes, surprisingly less. Burglary is less than an average. Theft and motor vehicle. Oh well, motor vehicle is actually a lot higher, so you have that there. Median household income, 51,000. Again, below the national average. The list of schools there, you guys can check it out when you go to niche.com. Let's go with our first terrible review. This one's back in 2016. Here we go. So I'm going to skip the terrible for this one because it is pretty outdated. Let's go to poor. This one is from last year. Let me see if this. All right, let me go to poor because it's last year. And the city of Dorchester has changed for the worse in the past 10 years. Each year, the housing prices increase faster than the job wages. That's just, if you're comparing it from 10 years ago when the crash happened, prices are going to be way different, right? That's prices of homes, no matter what the market is, no matter what, if you look at this, timeline, home prices always increase. Let's keep on reading. People like me who are considered middle income have to pay more than 50% of housing costs alone. The city of Boston has not made any necessary changes to make sure that there are affordable housing available for low to middle income families and working professionals, middle income families and working professionals. The city is only accommodating those who have a higher income to be able to live. And that's I would say that's true from my experiences. It's hard to give that availability, but there are things for individuals to take advantage of, right? So for renting, there's Section 8, which can have a bad connotation with them, but for you to be approved for Section 8, it can take like 6, 7, 8 years for you to get approval, and that's rental assistance. Maybe called something else where you're from. But Massachusetts itself also has some really good plans and rates if you're looking to buy a house, if you're a first-time home buyer. If you're low income, they have special programs for you too if you're purchasing. So, it could be that this person, may not know about those programs, or you have to fit within a certain criteria to be approved for these programs. So maybe he's just out of that, but who knows? But I like to, the fact that he's been there for so long and he's, he admits that he's middle class. It's good to have that point of view there. Let's go to an excellent review. 6 months ago, so a little bit sooner. Convenient everything, 10 minutes from airport, right off 93 expressway, 6 minutes to downtown Boston, 3 minutes to public transit, safe neighborhoods and lots to do. That's pretty good. This one's from August of last year. Well, let's cover this one too. This one person says they've been living here for 18 years. There is so much diversity, friendly neighborhoods that my family and I have known. Friendly neighbors that my family and I have known. Great connections and living areas like the zoo, banks, grocery stores, many food restaurants, hair and nail salons, which are easy to commute, and great nearby schools to go to. It's a great neighborhood to grow up and live. So that's a pretty good response. Again, depending on what part of Boston, what part of that neighborhood you're in, may change your view of how you feel about that neighborhood. So let's go back a couple. So that's for Dorchester there. So pretty straightforward on that one there. So let's go back one, and what's up next? So we did East Boston, Dorchester, Hyde Park. Again, another neighborhood that I've been in. Friends have grown up there. I don't really see like all the negativity that comes that goes towards them. But again, I grew up in Cambridge. Cambridge for a long time wasn't the most safest place to live. So maybe I'm just more comfortable and confident with myself to know if I'm safe or not, right? So Hyde Park, population 38,924, home value 400,000, so we're dropping down a little bit. Rent for 1405. Let's get a better view of that one. Rent mainly 1,000 to 1,500. That's pretty good, and then you're gonna go 15 to 2, and then over 2. You do get a lot of under 500s, but that's probably going to be, a single room rental. You do see a lot of those where you have, it's kind of like a dorm in college. You have your own room, and then you have a central location for like the kitchens and stuff like that. So let's cover the real estate. I think I missed this on these other ones, but for the most part, you're going to see out of 47% of 100, you can see a lot of homes between 200,000 and 400,000. That's probably condos, to be honest. Probably on the higher end, you're going to see some homes, but they're going to be in rougher shape. And then you're going to get a lot of 400 to 750 as well. Now that's probably going to be closer to some single families, but there are a lot more multifamilies, duplex, triplex, fourplexes there, depending on where you're coming from. They're called different things. So we'll check out. Well, speaking of that, this is sort of I haven't used Movado before, but it's here on Niche. You can kind of check out prices of homes there. But let's going into here, Hyde Park. So just to show where we are, Dorchester, Matapan, Hyde Park, right? So we're all right here. First off the bat, golf course, right? You got huge greenery here, right? That's pretty much not a quarter of the area, but we're pretty close there. Cemetery there. You do have some schools here and there, but again, another cemetery. But you're gonna have a little bit more businesses here. But you can kind of see the houses. They're a little bit spread further apart. They're not as tight. Some of these other neighborhoods, the houses are just like one on top of the other on top of the other. But we're out of there. But so it's again, I thought it was a nice area. The houses here, down here are probably a little bit more spread apart. You probably get a lot more single families on this side of town. But let's click out, do some ratings. 302 out of all of America. Let's just highlight this one real quick. 302 out of 6,000 neighborhoods in America. That's pretty good. Let's focus in the Boston area though. Number 10, most diverse. 177, best for young professionals. Excuse me, 188 for raise a family, and 191 best place to live in Boston. Next up, crime and safety, C+. So we're going back up again. Assault, 116 out of 282. Now, first time, I think this is the first time murder is less than the national average. So, take that as you will. Robbery, a little bit less. Property crimes, 279. Theft, 919. A motor vehicle, again, 144 or less. Diversity, A+. You know, that, take that as you will. Medium household income. This is the first time we're going to see the medium household income above the national average. So that, you know, that has something, probably has something to do with, you know, probably better living arrangements, more available jobs in the area, better jobs in the area. So let's go with some of the ratings. Let's go to terrible. This one's from 2015. Let's not go with that one. This one's from 2017. Let's cover the 2017, and then we'll go through an average and excellent too. From 2017, a poor rating. I don't want to feed into the stereotypes about Boston neighborhoods because there are good and bad parts of every neighborhood. I've been saying that. But my specific location in Hyde Park is generally more dangerous. I like how he said specific location, right? He's being honest there. He or she's being honest. Nothing has ever physically happened to me, but there have been many crimes in my area. I feel comfortable walking my dog late at night, but normally only closer to my house, although the people in my neighborhood are some of the nicest human beings I've ever met, regardless of my harsh review. I'm happy to say I grew up here. I honestly don't believe I would be who I am today if I didn't. So the review's a little confusing, right? Maybe they're confused. Maybe they just don't feel as safe as they could. Nothing's, but, you know, let's break it down a little bit. Nothing's has happened to this person. They feel comfortable walking their dog at night, even, but closer to their house versus, you know, walking a few blocks away. Take that as you will. You know, all of their neighbors are nice, right? And they're happy that they grew up there, and they wouldn't be the person they are today without being there. So, you know, it being a poor rating, I think they just mix, you know, I think they're just confused. You know, that sounds like a average or good rating to me, but hey, let's go check out an excellent one. This one's from 11 months ago, so pretty fresh. It's honestly a beautiful and peaceful neighborhood. Everyone is kind to each other and so nice. There are a lot of close by food and shopping places. It's not too city and not too suburban. I wouldn't want to live anywhere else in Boston. That's a great review. Talking about neighbors, the neighborhoods, the views. There's amenities there for you to go shopping if you need stuff. So I think that's a great review for them. So that's Hyde Park. Let's go into the next one. Sorry if I keep on clearing my throat. My throat's really dry. Next one up. So let's see how many we covered. So we covered the islands. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Our next one up here is Roxbury. Not the Roxbury with Will Ferrell. That's completely different. Roxbury, the neighborhood. Overall rating B, number B. Good job, Rui. Population 57,742. Medium home value 478. So we're below the we're a little bit, you know, more than double the national average there. Rent 1,000. That's one of the cheaper ones we've seen. I said I would have covered some of the towns in for Hyde Park, and I forgot to do that. Sorry, guys. You are all right. So rent, there are a lot of under 500. Again, that probably is like a room rental. You know, you get a lot of 5 to 1,000, a good amount with 1,000 to 15, and then starts coming back down again. So, you know, you're probably going to see a 1 or 2 bedroom. Go for this here. For the home value, right? So our highest one is between 400 and 749. It's probably because there's a lot more multifamilies here than anything else. But then you got some 200 to 400, and then quite a bit of 759. Again, those are going to be like the fourplexes, 3 family, triplexes, 4 families. Giving you those numbers there. You know, let's explore it now before I forget, right? So let's go to the map, and then we'll go into a couple of the active homes in that area. Roxbury, right? So where are we? Dorchester, Matapan, Hyde Park's over there. So East Boston's right here. So East Boston's right there. Sorry, what am I doing? So we're all close together. Roxbury. You got the Franklin Park Zoo. Really neat, right? You got a zoo right in your neighborhood. Great place, too, if you ever want to check it out. Really nice place. You know, you got the BU Medical Campus connected to it. Northeast University is right there, too. So you guys get a lot of availability here, right? If you want to get into Boston, you're a lot closer to the nightlife in this area. We'll kind of zoom in. A ton of parks again, a ton of schools, which is really, really good. And they're all sort of spread out really nicely. So, it seems like almost every neighborhood has their own park and maybe even school. Going into closer view of the homes here in the buildings, get a lot of medical centers here. It's Boston, you're going to get a lot of medical centers. That's what they're famous for. The homes, the building tightnesses, they're tight, but they're not, I've seen tighter, honestly. They're not terrible. Not terrible. Let's get into some of the homes here. So multifamily, 9 beds, 4 baths. So that's probably, a couple 3 bedrooms, and a single bedroom somewhere. Condo, $429. Not bad. Not bad on this one. Again, I don't use Movado. This is just sort of something convenient that's on niche.com here. Let's see if there's a single family somewhere that we can kind of take a look at. Condo. Yeah, so not too many single fams here. A lot of what's this one? I think this one's a single family. Yeah, single family. Needs some work. Not bad. Depending if you like updating stuff while you live there. Not bad, but you're under 500 here, which is, for Boston, is pretty good. Let's go to some of the rankings. Anything to scream out for the national? No, not really. For the Boston area, 11 out of 223 for most diverse. 51 for best for young professionals. And I covered the top 5 neighborhoods for Boston a couple weeks ago. So definitely go on my YouTube channel, check out the best neighborhoods. And all of those are like 1, 2, 3, under 20 for the best for young professionals, if that's what you're looking for. 190 for best places to live, and 202 raise a family. So we're back close to the 200s again. Crime and safety back down to C-. We're jumping up and down here. Assault, definitely more than double than the national. Murder, again, crazy. Robbery, not 4x, but pretty close to 4x. Burglary, I'm going to skip that word for some reason. My brain's not working for that word, but a little less than the national average. Theft, a little less. Motor vehicle theft, higher, right? So the crime is definitely up. Median household income, less than half the national average, right? So that, I think this has a correlation to this. I've said it before. It's just, it's crazy. Let's get into some of the reviews here. Let's go to One Terrible. Let's see where that's from. 2016, not the greatest. All right, so we got a poor rating from August of last year. Depending on whether the part of Roxbury is more or less gentrified, you'll see a big difference setting overall community and police engagement. Which is going to be true for any neighborhood or any part of the city. If working class, black and brown, would not recommend. I'm not sure what they're trying to say there. If working class would not recommend, not a lot of policies are followed within the community, and depending on how long you live in that community, your interaction could differ either positively or negatively. So I guess depending on this person saying, not my opinion, this person's opinion, depending on your working class and your ethnicity, you may not have the best experience there. So that's something to keep in mind if that's what you're worried about. One of the excellent reviews, I like how everything is close by, nothing is far away. Same thing, different wording. I would like to see less road construction, or at least finish them off quicker, because it's been many months now near Dudley. I'm not going to comment on that because I've been in the construction. I've done construction before. I've been a plumber before, and sometimes things take longer. And you know what? I'm not going to sugarcoat that. Massachusetts is awful for their roads, especially in the city. Our winters are hard. We get hit hard, and we use a lot of salt to make sure people are safe when they're driving. And that takes a number on the road, on the asphalt roads. So, yes, they're slow to completing some stuff, but there's nothing you can do about it. You can complain all you want about it, but nothing's going to change. So that does it for Roxbury. Again, really close to a lot of nightlife and stuff. So any of these neighborhoods that you want me to cover a little bit more in depth, leave it in the comment or reach out. Or if you're interested in looking at some of the homes in these areas, you definitely got to reach out to me. But let's see how many we covered. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 5.5, because I don't really call the Islands its own neighborhood, even though people seem to live there. But those are the top, or those are the 6 worst neighborhoods in Boston. But again, if you guys are looking to move or relocate to Boston or the greater Boston area, make sure you got to reach out to us. Phone call, email, text message, whatever it is. We love hearing from you guys. And until the next video, we'll catch you.